Tech Guru is with Thermaltake at Computex 2024. We are familiar with their hydrangea aesthetic for the 25th anniversary, and we have a whole stack of products in hydrangea blue. And we go to the left, and we keep on going, and we arrive at what looks like a mod with the Tower 300 in a special paint job called the Wheeler Edition. That's how it's pronounced, Wheeler. What's that about? Well, as Dom steps back and shows the bicycle, this is a Wheeler bicycle. Look at the paint. The same people that painted the bicycle, and make the bicycle for that matter, also painted the case. And that means that the Tower 300 Wheeler Edition is an actual product, albeit we don't know the price. It will be limited edition. We're not certain how limited, but that looks absolutely bloomin' stunning. As we fight over the noise at the Thermaltake booth, we have the Tower 250. We've already reviewed the Tower 200. The significant thing here is it has increased space inside for extra cooling. How did they do that? They've shrunk the power supply. It doesn't do ATX power anymore. It's SFX. And that strikes me as very sensible because it differentiates the various towers. So we move down the line, the Tower 250 in black upright, the Tower 250 in snow laid down, and then we come to the Tower 300. We recently reviewed this in Bumblebee Yellow. In fact, I reviewed it. And this is very similar to the Tower 200. And now, of course, the differential is the Tower 300 ATX power and slightly larger. So the Tower 300 in what looks like black, also snow white. And the reason I say looks like is because they're doing big things with colors. So next up, we have the Tower 300 in not champagne, but instead in peach. And after that, it's not grey, it's something else, like granite. They are going to be producing a lot of products in a lot of different colours. And very often they'll be limited edition. When they sell out of peach fuzz, or whatever we're going to call it, it's gone. The Tower 600 is new for Computex. So it's the largest of the towers we've seen so far. The largest I reviewed was the Tower 500. Significant thing here, among other things, support for 420 AIO is hidden connector motherboards, i.e. the cables come in the back. Just look at the size of GPU it could support, absolutely enormous. You'll also notice the AIO liquid cooler has a round pump LCD. We'll be seeing that later. Looks really neat. It also establishes the time and date we're here. And we move to the right, and we have the Tower 600 in hydrangea blue, looking absolutely bling-tastic. One thing we don't like so much about the towers is the LCD where my finger is. It's fine when the case is upright. However, when you lay it down, you can have your graphics rotated 90 degrees. That's a little bit annoying. Go along the line, Dom. Let's see what we've got. We go past the Tower 600 in matcha green to the Tower 600 in snow, and we end up at the Tower 600 in black. Now this has a formidable custom loop liquid cooling system inside. Obviously the hardware is all Thermaltake, and it's only at this point it really strikes me. Cases used to be black. Well, they used to be beige, but then they were black. Doesn't black look boring these days? White, green, blue, much more interesting. We're around the back of the Tower 600. It's going to be priced at $169 in July, and we see these accessory LED strips, which are replacing the standard cable covers. We don't have a price, they should be cheap. That's a neat little idea. But these particular covers, as we look at the back of the matcha green, take out the filter, pull the cover, try not to lose my fingers. Working one-handed, and you see you've got access to all the cables. That's quite a neat touch. The cable cover is magnetic, goes back in place, as does the rear panel. And it's worth pointing out, it has a cutout to go around the power cable, so you haven't got to fiddle around that. And there we go. One-handed PC building, easy peasy. Very nice. Tower 600, I think that's going to do well. The Tower 500 was okay. The 600, to my eyes, looks better. Swing around, Dominic, and let's look at some AI stuff, because we haven't said AI yet. Yes, Thermaltake is going to get into the server workstation business. Just count the hard drives and count the graphics cards. It's practically comedy how much hardware you can get inside a very large case. In fact, I can open the window of this one. Oh, that was Alex's distro plate going bang. There we go. You can see inside now. I can confidently predict you will not see this AX700 case on review at Kit Guru. Apart from anything else, I probably couldn't lift the blessed thing. But there we go. Thermaltake is keen to cater to every market. And we can demonstrate how Thermaltake caters to all markets by going over to the TR100 in, as you can see, hydrangea blue. A mini ITX chassis due at the end of the year at 120 bucks. When I pull off this panel, it's a prototype at the moment, but it still comes away clean. Support for an enormous graphics card. They tell us up to 360mm, which is absolutely formidable. You may be thinking Cooler Master NR200p, and I'd agree with you. The thing is, the PCI Express riser will come with the case, but they won't be supplying it with power supply or cooler. So NR200p similar to, but not the Max. Let's go around the other side. And there we see the SFX power supply. I hasten to add, the LCD display at the front is an accessory. On past form, that's probably about 80 bucks. So do not think you're getting that for 120. You're not. This case strikes us as highly promising, and it makes me wonder, why hasn't Thermaltake done something small and compact like this in the past? Do you have a bicycle? Would you like a bag on your bicycle? And if you do, would you like LED lighting on that bag? Now, it's a bit of a cheat because it requires power, so you have to lug that around. But the actual bags themselves, I like a great deal. We know the CEO of Thermaltake, Kenny Lin, has a bicycle store. I did not expect him to actually be manufacturing bicycle accessories. I thought he just sold the things, but nope, the man makes bicycle bags. CTE E550TG. We're familiar with both the CTE 500 and the 600. The 550 naturally sits somewhere between the two. It's mainly about aesthetics, so you can see glass on the front, back and side, airflow coming in from the bottom, airflow coming in from the side, exhausting through the roof. It has rear cable connections for the motherboard. In other words, loads of holes in the motherboard tray. Looks an absolute beauty. How well it works thermally, we honestly don't know. This will require a review. But I would say the size of the case makes airflow fairly promising. There's a lot of fans in this case, and it supports multiple GPU options for installation. So we move from left to right. We have black, matcha green, and what they're calling gravel sand. Now, I agree it's not bronze or gold, but I'm not sure gravel sand's the most catchy name. Also, it's got a two-tone interior. You can see this color here, and you can see a more kind of coppery color on the fan racks and the motherboard tray. And as I remove the right-hand panel, you can see that two-tone interior. So they've got a contrast going on, particularly with the black power supply. We're told they'll make batches in different colors and different permutations of colors, and once the colors are finished, that's it. You've missed out. And we move on to Ceres 350. The 50 denotes, once again, rear cable connection for the motherboard. Also, we have a round accessory LCD, in this instance of a charming young lady. If we move to the left, it's some sort of plant, which I guess matches the color of the case. So we have a selection of colors. On the very left, we have black. Next to that, we have snow. Then we have matcha green. And finally, we have hydrangea blue. Also, we've learned something if we go around the front of the hydrangea blue. The MX means you get a choice of front panels, either glass or mesh. In this instance, obviously, it's got the glass with a great big gap either side, but behind it, it has a very fine dust filter. So it's not just going to flow dust straight to your components. It is filtered. We did not know that's what MX meant until this moment. And here we have the Ceres 350 MX in racing green, and it has that mesh panel installed. And we move past the racing green to the Bumblebee that we recently saw in a small The Tower. And we end up at the Ceres 350 MX in bubble pink, a color we have not yet seen. A color I was keen to see, and now I've seen it, I have reservations. It's quite bright. Go back to the racing green, Dominic, I like that. That's it, British racing green for the win. Love it. I cannot claim that Thermaltake is a big player in the memory market, but they are making constant efforts. They're moving up from 16 gig modules to 24 gig. So this is 2 by 24 equals 48 at a perfectly reasonable 6400 mega transfers. DDR5, of course. And they're also making efforts when it comes to speed. These modules rated at 7200 mega transfers, and they are going to be bringing out modules up to 8000 mega transfers. These modules all powered by SK Hynix silicon. And to the right, we have some slower memory in more interesting colors, a whole variety of color schemes. I shudder to think what the Thermaltake stock keeping system looks like. Turning around, we have TF3 power supplies rated up to 1650 watts. And we work our way along a line of modded the towers, starting one by Corey Gregory in Australia. Not sure what the aesthetic is, but it looks a bit industrial and battle-y. Then we have the Tower 300 Snow by a chap whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, in some fairly strong colours. The Tower 300 Bumblebee by Justin Chu. The Tower 300 in a red and black colour scheme I haven't seen before, and it makes you wonder why they're not making it in that at the factory. Timmy Parker's been busy with an enormous external cooling system. Well done, Timmy, that's what we like to see. Tower 300 Snow with a white and orange combo going on. And we end up with the Tower 300 Bumblebee with a cooler on the very roof of the case. And a load of, what do you say it is, stainless or chrome? And what looks like stainless steel tubing throughout. And we have some fans, CTEX ARGB fan series. These daisy chain together magnetically, as I will demonstrate. Look. And look. That's technology at work in a live demo. Quite impressed. As you can see, matcha green, hydrangea blue, 120mm, 140mm. To keep costs down, these fans are going to sell in regular form and also in reverse form. So rather than selling them with swap-in, swap-out rotors, you'll buy one or t'other. A triple pack of the 120s priced at $55 and a triple pack of the 140s priced at $59. When it comes to power supplies in the SFX form factor, Thermaltake is pushing forward. We saw the SFX Platinum 1000 at CES earlier this year, and now they have a titanium 1200 watt. We don't have a price on that, guarantee it won't be cheap, but let's face it, that power supply can power the most brutal PC. We know about Astria air coolers from Thermaltake. However, Project Trinity, that's something entirely different. 3D VC, it's got a vapor chamber sitting on top of your CPU. Beyond that, we know nothing about this cooler. It's very much a prototype. We don't know when or indeed if it will become available. We don't know about the TDP rating, and we don't know the time frame, but that looks interesting. The idea of Thermaltake getting serious about air cooling, I like the sound of that a great deal. And we're signing off with these DDC distros. $200, $200, $150, and they're coming in August. They're absolutely nuts to look at, but we can see how these work in the real world. If Dominic goes to the right and looks at his system built into a tower case, there you're looking at the Pacific PR5 DDC Plus. You'll notice in this case it's just resting on the floor of the case. If you go over to the right, Dominic, where we have a laid down tower, it's attached to what was the floor of the case and has become the side of the case and looks absolutely great. And I'm going to sign off next to the TT Immersion Cooling Project. This is absolutely intriguing. The idea obviously is the fluid is non-conductive, otherwise everything would go zik. We understand the chemical they're using is very pricey and there are problems with export from one territory to another. So if you're to buy this system in Europe, you may then have to source the fluid yourself, or the PC seller would have to source the fluid. And that sounds highly problematic. I do not expect to be reviewing this system anytime soon, although I must confess, it sounds intriguing. This is Kit Guru with Thermaltake at Computex 2024, kitguru.net on the web. We're on TikTok. Give us a like, subscribe, and a thumbs up.